my, oh my. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this cool Toon Boom stream. Again, like each month, I'm back. My name is Mel. It's also Marie-Ève. It's also Z Bird Brain on YouTube. This is my secret, not so secret identity, where I make some cool animation content, usually tutorials and other fun stuff. And today I am here to make a cool stream on the subject of learning animation. And even cooler, I have a cool guest today with me, and it's Valmera. And they make some very great doodles, like now. And I'll let them introduce themselves to
you. Hi, happy to be here. Super nervous too, but yeah. My name is Valmera. My friends call me Val most of the time, and I am an artist and animator that currently uses Toon Boom, and I absolutely love it. I am nervous too.
Aren't we all? We are all nervous. I just pretend I'm not. I am. And so can you talk to us a little bit about your journey, like learning animation? Because everybody has such a different one. Like, for example, I was 8 years old and I just tried to animate by, like, I think I just used the metal thing that you can punch in paper to put them together and like animate them, and use rulers, and then I guess when I was 18 years old or 17, I got to an animation school that was like a public college with animation classes. So like everybody's got their own path. What is yours? Like, what was your first contact with animation?
Oh, well, actually, I grew up watching lots of Disney animation movies, animated movies, I mean. And back in the day, when I was like 8, I promise you, I thought they were done like by old computers, like made of wood or something, because I thought computers existed like forever, or I don't know. And then when I was 13, I learned that no, they actually used paper, and that you can do that as well. Like, you just grab a piece of paper and you draw to your heart's content. And then I was like, sure, fine, that sounds fun. And then I forgot about it for like a few years.
That's nice.
Yeah, this was like a mess, honestly. But yeah, I got reintroduced to it when I joined something called the Animation Meme Community. It's actually a small community of animators here on YouTube that make animated music videos for fun. It's usually short. And that's when I got to make them with an application called Flip-a-Clip. And I remember I actually loved it because I was like, whoa, I can make my characters move like they are moving. Sure, they moved pretty bad, but they were moving.
But it's moving. It's magic. Yeah, I think animation
magical.
is like that step. Yeah, that's exactly the word, right? I think like when we first learned to draw, like the character is there, but when you can make it move, even if it's just like a little blink, I think that's the first thing I did like on computer. Like, I got my animation software as a kid, and I would do like these blink emotes for like MSN Messenger and stuff. I would like make them for my friends and be like the go-to for emotes and stuff. And it's so crazy how you take just a little drawing, and when you make it move, it's like the character is alive, right? It's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that drawing. Don't delete any of those. So yeah, but that's cool for our childhood. Oh wait, last thing about childhood. Were you also one of these people who would look at like VHS tapes on their TV and pause it to just look at the drawing and then see that the drawings were moving?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not the only one.
I was always confused by the smear frames. Like, they looked very funny.
Right? And I was like, why? How is it? And I would just like press pause and play, and just try to understand it. Which sounds silly now, but when you think about it, it's going to be very, very, what's the English word for that? It's going to be not meaningful. I forgot the name of the word, but it's going to be important for what we talk about later, where we talk about actual learning from references and stuff when you want to animate more than 8 years old toddlers drawing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to more recent, like quote unquote professional looking animation, because I know we all start from different path when we are kiddos, but what about actual like animation? Because I know I went, like I said, I went to an animation school, so I learned it, in school. Um, where did you learn what you know about animation at the moment?
Actually, most of the stuff I know is basically on my own. I just
I know that's
saw
why I
how
brought you as
things
a guest
move.
today. I knew the answer.
Yeah, I just saw how things moved in real life, and then I try to replicate it when I animate them. Like, oh, how does a person walk? And I remember making my first walk cycle, and it was horrible, but it was
Oh,
something.
walk
It
cycles
made
are
me
so
happy.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many principles and rules go into that one. So many.
Yeah. Let it be an advice for anyone watching. If you want to get like into animation, but you're not an animator yet, or whatever, like you're just starting out, do not start with the walk cycle.
No,
Don't make the mistake we did. Because I did
that
that
was
too.
a
I was
bad
like, oh,
mistake.
animate like a wolf run cycle. Because, that was what I drew when I was a kid, sparkle dogs and stuff. But, like, don't do walk cycles. Do something simple. Like what is simple? Like a bouncing ball is great. What else is a simple thing? Links, maybe?
Mm, I would say
Hmm.
the bouncing ball and the flower sack, those are like amazing for beginners,
That is
honestly.
true, yeah. Flower sack is so fun. And if you don't, I know a lot of students I mentor, they're like, oh, the flower sack is ugly. Everybody does it. Well, just do something else that looks like a flower sack. Do I know I make them do a lot like a jelly, like just a jelly creature, just like a shapy creature ish. Like anything that is simple and doesn't have limbs. That's the important part. You don't want to start by animating limbs. That's the
No.
biggest pitfall, I think, when we start. Um, so yeah, so for this stream, I think it's gonna be very important. Not important, very interesting, because on one hand, we get like a point of view of learning in a school and learning more like on your own. So let it be known, it's always possible to learn. It depend, no matter what kind of avenue you have to use. Um, there's tips and tricks for everyone. So that's what we're gonna cover today. So as usual, this is a Toon Boom stream, so we have like little rules of conduct that I'm gonna have to go through, and it's boring, but So we're here to have fun. Please keep nice in the chat. We don't want people fighting because that's not nice. And of course, we will always try our best to answer any questions that you guys have. So keep them coming in the chat. That's what makes us happy, and that's what drives us to um, have cool answers if we can. And we just ask that you don't ask like NDA kind of questions, like that we cannot answer. So keep it nice, keep it polite and professional, and we're gonna help out. And of course, the recording will be available in a couple of days for you to watch on the YouTube channel. Or so don't worry if you have to miss it. It's always going to be available after. Um, yeah, and that's it. I was just checking in my little list. Okay, so back to the stream. I love these doodles, by the way. Rules are important.
They are so random, honestly.
Okay, so let's talk about learning. So, when we want to learn, um, even if you're in a school or not in a school, I think one of the very important point that sometimes we overlook is community. So, if you want to learn animation or art or anything, we always recommend like joining either a community, because I know Val, you mentioned the one that I forgot how it's called, the one for the YouTube animation community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the one you mentioned a bit before. That was a big thing. What other things can people join? Like Discords. There's Discord servers that are nice. Hey, we should. I'm gonna send the one that we work on, the Discord server. Um, so yeah, we forgot to mention, but Val and I, we also help manage a very cool animation community. So if you're interested in learning animation, you can always feel free to join us. I'm going to send the link into the chat. What do you think is so great about joining a community to learn?
Me? Oh, well, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, well, after
I mean, I could have been
joining
asking the chat.
that too. Well, for joining a community, it's actually quite no. Shush! My cat it's talking.
It's so
No,
cute. I love it.
no. Okay, okay. Give me a second. Let me open the door. Okay, you come here. Come on, come on. Shush. Goodbye. Goodbye. Be free. Be free. Okay, now that is over. What was the question again?
We were wondering what are the good points of joining a community to learn animation.
Oh yeah, like joining communities is awesome in general because you get to have fellow people that like the same things as you do. But joining a specific community for like animators, like they do the same thing like as you, but some do it professionally, other as a hobby, and you can get lots of experience and good advice, and you can also share your work and get feedback to it. Stuff that you really couldn't get in like a normal community, like a generalized place. Like, oh, I like to do cooking. I like to write books. You cannot get animation advice there, actually.
That is right. I didn't think about that. But yeah, the feedback you get in a community is wonderful. Because yeah, sometimes in community you can have a good mix of professional and newcomers. And it's cool because everybody learns from each other. I know the professional also learned a lot from people just coming in because sometimes it's fresh ideas and stuff. So that is a good point I would have not thought. Um, but then how do you find a community to be in, and how do you kind of know if it's a good one? I think I have an advice for that. Usually if you don't feel safe in a community, don't stay there. Like if you're in a community of animation, either on Discord or any other place on the internet, and you feel that when you send out your art you're not respected or people are not being nice, do not fight it. Like don't try to stay there and like change people. Like just leave, because you don't want to be into a toxic environment, and just keep looking and you're going to find another one. Try to see if there's like creators on YouTube or Instagram. Sometimes they have nice community that you can join. These are some advice. Do you have anything else about it, like how to find a community?
Yeah.
I think that sums it up.
Mhm.
Okay. So now that you know where to go to kind of be with people. Oh, and also when you want to learn animation, if you just isolate in your basement and you want to learn alone, that's not the way. Like when people say, I'm self-taught, like I've learned alone, I'm like, no, you didn't. Like probably you watched the tutorial on YouTube, you talked to someone. Like I don't think today, like it's pretty close to impossible that you just learned animation by yourself by looking at nothing else than a piece of paper in your basement. Okay, so just go
Oh
meet
yeah.
people, talk with people. um, but now that we talk about the community, we're going to talk about the real subject, learning animation. And it's a
Ooh.
big subject. So for starting out, what are some good um, advice and like reference material that someone could find? I know there's a book that everybody advised people to get. It's the Animation Survival Kit, which is great. Um, but aside from this book, which is not easy to find for everyone, what are other venues that we can get to learn from? Like, what are some cool things that you could advise us to look into?
Well, in that case, I know not many people have gotten access to the book. Like, I've read it. It has
Mm-hmm.
like the basics and it's pretty nice, but sometimes you also want to like branch out and like try stuff
Exactly.
for yourself, and you have to not only have this like as the top as the top material for information. Like there are many other resources you can actually get where you can actually learn from, not only tutorials on YouTube. There's people that also have workshops that they can provide for a cheap price. Actually, I've known many, and they're actually quite great.
And sometimes workshop by one person, like these can be on the pricey side, but I know that a lot of artists sometimes they give out shorter workshop like for free. I know that on my Discord server with the community, we host free classes, like especially in the summer with lots of professionals that come in, and a lot of other festival offer a cheap or free or very cheap access online. I know that there was like the festival of somewhere in like Great Britain. There was a festival. I think Annecy also has a workshop you can have online that were a bit less pricey. Like I would advise check in your location or like in your country. Sometimes there's some very good festivals, and even if you can't attend on site, some of them have events that you can do online. I know that the Lightbox Animation Festival convention has their Discord channel where they host some of the workshop. I don't know if it's for free. I think it is. Don't quote me. I know there's some free event that you can do there all year long, which is very great. I forgot about that one. Yeah, the Lightbox Expo Discord is pretty great. Check it out, you guys. But yeah, you're right. Workshops are very great, a source of knowledge.
Yeah, they're actually more accessible to some people who cannot go to college.
I know where I'm from, my animation school was cheap-ish, but the university and higher education in animation, way over budget. Like, and especially in the States, also super expensive. But workshops are often much cheaper, and workshops are also a great way to meet people, either online or on site. Don't overlook that point because it is important. Oftentimes I hear, "Oh, why would I get a workshop? It's useless and stuff." But you get more than just the course. You get to meet people, you get to exchange, and yeah, that's an important part. We also mentioned that, but we didn't. We can also mention references, because when you learn animation, sometimes you won't always have someone to tell you how to animate it. So that's a little subject I would like to tackle. Did it ever occur to you that you had to animate something and you just went like, I'll do it, and then you start to animate, you're like, how does that even work? And then you're like, what the heck? So what is your step? What do you do when you have these situations where you have to animate something and you just don't know? I love the doodles.
That actually happened to me like a few days ago. I wanted to like animate a character like how do you say it? Like the character had there was like a nail here and she was supposed to hammer it with like a hammer. But then when I went on its first pass, it was super weird. Like no, that's not how it's supposed to look. It was so lifeless and it went all over the place. And then when I tried to look up for references, it was kind of hard to get like the exact movement that I wanted to. But then I thought maybe if I tried it myself, so I tried to like record myself, and it was kind of worse because I didn't acted out the momentum and the timing that I wanted to. So I guess what I ended up doing was kind of like a combination of both to get closer to what I want. And after that, I remember asking for help in another animator group that I'm in, and then gave me feedback to it. And I was like, thank you, animator lords or something, because that was like actually very helpful. For some part, because when you look at the in real life reference, you can see how everything is like moving and stuff. But when you want to exaggerate it, I guess that's when it gets a little bit complicated, and you have to get creative around it and ask for help if you need to, because that's great. Asking for help is great.
Asking for help is super great, and I think as long as there's a difference. Like asking for help is okay, but I think you guys should not be shy to ask for help, but just like try to balance it. Like if you ask for help 35 times in the same day in the same person, like chill, like try to figure it out too. But yeah, never be afraid to ask for help. If you need it, because sometimes also you just need a second pair of eyes to look at your animation. And I love your hammer example for this, because it covers exactly everything we had to cover. Um, so um, one of the problems that you lifted in this was the reference problem. Because oftentimes when people try to learn animation, they're like, I'm just going to look at a reference and draw it. That's easy. Animation is easy. And it's like, no. So when it comes to references, we do have like some tricks for that as well. So if we just isolate the reference part of this little intervention, you really raised a good point where if we try to record ourselves doing the movement, oftentimes it's gonna not be great, because we're animators. We work behind the camera, not in front. Most of the
Yeah.
time, I can do something amazing, but if you put a camera in front of me, I just become the awkwardest fish out of the water person. I just like cease to exist until the camera's turned off. Yeah, I just stare blankly into the distance. Exactly. That's me if you turn the camera on. Um, I know that reference. And but that's important, because sometimes we're like, oh, I'm just gonna act out the pose, and then you act it out, and then you look at the video, and you're like, what the heck? Like, there's no life, there's no nothing. This is because, um, like, few exceptions aside, animators were not camera people. We're usually camera shy, and that's okay. I'm camera shy, like a lot of people are. So if you want to get reference for your animation, just know that you might not be the best person for the job, and that's okay. But it depends. um if it's just a locomotion, like just like how something works, like how to walk, how to lift an object, yes, record yourself. If it is for acting or anything like meaningful like that, or anything that needs to be precise, like a sword fight. I've got friends in on a project that had to animate a sword fight, and they're like, "Well, we're just gonna record each other sword fighting." I'm like, "You guys don't even know how to lift a knife. Like, how are you gonna sword fight? You have no knowledge." And they were like, "Oh, you're right." So if it's the locomotion of lifting a sword, yes, record yourself. If you have to animate someone sword fighting someone else, please find professional who do it. And of course, when we do our own project, we're not like these big studios like Disney, whatever, who can hire a swordsman for a day. So that this is when you go on YouTube or you look at pictures of professional doing the thing. Don't try to do it yourself, because I've seen it so many times where like an animation failed because the source material was failing drastically. So I think if we can make like bullet points for reference, if it's locomotion, just do the movement yourself, or maybe record or photograph yourself. Okay. If it's expression or anything that needs training, uh, look at a professional. Don't try to hold a sword by the blade, please.
No, don't go near a sword. You cannot do that.
It's not advised.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just gonna check my bullet points, see if we missed something. Oh, yeah, so yeah, of course I forgot. Where do we find references? Like Val said, either you can do the movement yourself, not recording it, just doing it. Like if you need to hammer something in a wall in your animation, take a hammer and just try to feel the motion. You would be surprised at how much you can learn by just doing the motion instead of just watching it. You need to animate somebody jump, just jump. Um, but if you have to do martial arts, then just look at a professional. Don't do it. People often forget how active it can be an animator. Like just move, and it's gonna feel, it makes you feel better. It's gonna make you learn better. So yeah, so either you do the movement yourself, you record yourself, or you can go on YouTube to find some references. And also something that is not usual, but it did help one of my friends on her project. She was doing something a lot about like specific arts and how to do like blowing glass, like for example. And they went to the library, and there was a DVD on how to do that. So like sometimes check your library. You might be surprised by some materials you can find there that are not on YouTube or not on the internet or something. So but yeah, YouTube is usually the go-to place to find good references for anything of that sort. And yeah, I think that's it. Any other places you think we could find good references? Oh, books. I forgot to say books, but of course, imagery books are very useful. But I think that's it.
Yeah.
I love that drawing. It's so cute. Love it. I'm a fan. But speaking of reference and learning from them, once you find your reference, how do you use it is another big question. Because there's a difference between rotoscoping and referencing a video. But I think we've all done it, yourself included, right? When you find, like, let's say we have to animate fire, we'll be like, I'm gonna watch the video and just trace the fire or trace the action.
Yeah, that doesn't really work most of the time for me. Like, no.
Yeah. I don't think it works for anyone. So,
but
maybe we should give some advice on how to use video materials. Like, what are some common pitfalls that you've experienced when you're like, oh, this is not working?
Oh, well, for example, when I had to make that hammer animation, I realized that no, I cannot just look at the video, like pause every few seconds and just exactly draw however I was, because my human form, of course, has to follow certain anatomy things that you cannot really exaggerate with, like my poses. I cannot make my arc to my back to arc a lot. Like, no, that's not how it works. It doesn't look real animation wise with the rhythm that I'm trying to like make. I just can be normal, like plain. That's just all I can be. So I guess what I could do was just like those poses that I got from the video, I tried to exaggerate them like as much as I could to match the style that I was going for, like animation wise, and to work it up from there. Not to not copy exactly how it looks, but the feeling of it, you know? I don't know how to explain that part. I'm not great at explaining.
That makes a lot of sense. That's very, very good advice. Especially, yeah, when you look at a video, just don't try to copy it frame by frame. Though, but I mean, for some things, there is value in like going frame by frame just for learning, like how, like if you want to animate someone jump, yeah, take a few frames and maybe trace them. That's good because then you can really make sure that you got it. But like trace like a few frames here and there. If you just trace the whole animation, the whole like video frame by frame, you're kind of wasting time because you're not learning the movement. You're just tracing lines that you don't understand. So trace or copy a few poses, yes, but then try to understand how things move within each other. Yeah, that's solid advice. Good job. You win a medal.
That reminds me when people trace like poses, like online poses that they find instead of like trying to understand how the pose works. Like, no, they just like draw their own character on top of it. Like, it doesn't really make any sense because you're not.
I did that as a kid.
No, because same. That's why I'm saying that. Because
I'm
you
guilty.
Don't really learn.
I'm guilty and I learned nothing from it. Okay, but speaking of figure drawing, oh, that's a pretty hot wolf man. Good job. But silly Google, silly giggles. Speaking of yeah, live drawing or figure drawing or whatever people want to call it. Um,
Oh yeah.
I have strong opinion about it. Okay, so like, hear me out, and everybody's allowed to disagree. But I did a lot of figure drawing in school, and just in general, like it's with friends and stuff. It's just something we do because it is useful. But I strongly believe that doing only life drawing or figure drawing, like drawing from life, I I think if you only do that, I think it's detrimental. I think figure drawing and learning should be a balance between referencing real people or pictures if you don't have access to real naked people, and drawing other artists' work. Okay, and I'm not saying stealing, and I'm not saying to also 100% source your knowledge from other people's art, but what I mean is I think there's a lot of values in reproducing other artists' anatomical work, because then sometimes you understand how they do shortcuts, how they schematize something. Because when I look at a human figure and I try to draw it, sometimes I'm going to reproduce it, but to know how to do like the shorthand version, I do not get it easily. It's just not something that I do. But if I look at another artist, how they do their elbows, their neck area and stuff, I learned so much from that. So I don't know, fight me, but I think that doing only figure drawing is detrimental. It should be a balance between referencing artists, quality artists, okay, not just any artist, okay, pick your artist well, and live drawing. But I don't know. What do you think, Val?
Well, actually, that's also like a great advice because some people know a few little hacks in quotes, like how to do
Uh huh.
certain stuff that you can. It's like, for example, I know that there are people who give good advice and not so great advice art
Mm-hmm.
wise when it comes to something about like proportions because their stuff is so stylized that you kind of get the wrong impression, like for example,
Yep.
oh no, like I make my characters like super thin and all I do is thin, and then when I try to give advice to draw something that I'm not really I don't know used to, like I don't know, I'm gonna make it
Yeah.
like fat or something, it's not going to look that great because I'm just gonna go, wait, you're just gonna go and do this. Like, no, that's not how a normal fat character looks like. Like, no, you can do so much more than just that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess getting like art advice and tips from people from many other places that know their craft and know what they are doing, it's
It
actually good to
expands
like,
the knowledge.
yeah, expand your horizons. You can learn so much from different people actually. So much. Super recommended. Try it out.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I know I got really good at, well, really good. I won't say really good. Really better at drawing hands, for example, because the show I worked on, Wakfu, I had to trace so many of other people's hands um, to animate them and stuff, and I learned so much. A lot of the production I've been on, I've learned how to do hands and stuff that I would have never really understood because each show had a different way to schematize hands, and it just made me learn so much. Same thing for eyes and etc. So 100% look at references of real thing and draw from life. This is 100% true. You have to do it. You cannot just draw silly cartoons. Like, you need to have foundation, and this is important.
Yeah.
But also treat yourself and pick an artist that is very skilled and knowledgeable, that does like good quality stuff, and treat yourself and just try to inspire yourself and reproduce what they do. I swear it helps a lot, because if you're like me and you can't understand uh, like okay, to me drawing doesn't come easy, surprisingly. I love animation, I love movement. That's why I used to be a better 3D animator than I was a 2D animator for a while, because drawing for me, it doesn't come easy. I have to do a lot of work to get it right. Okay, some people just look at a image, and then they remember the image in their brain. It's like they see it. I don't. Okay, so lots of work, but I want to say that it's possible, and this is my advice. It's to try to also like steal little things from other artists. Like, and it can be as precise and stupid as I could not draw elbows. I just couldn't. I didn't understand it. So I picked a bunch of different artists, and I look at how they would animate or move elbows or like shoulders or knees or feet, and piece by piece I reproduced the look of a human in my brain. And as long as you're doing it for learning, like inspiring yourself and referencing other artists' work is totally fine. Just don't post it as your own. That's evil. You don't do that ever. That's bad. I love that little drawing. It's so cute. Borrowed stuff. Yeah, borrowed stuff. That's right. Okay, let me just check the chat because we've got some movement in there, so that'll give you time to finish your cute little drawing. So, Martin Navarro was saying, when earlier we were talking about the video references and like don't record yourself if you have no idea what you're doing. They said like, haha, you don't even know how to chop vegetables, lol. That is so funny because I had a show where my friend was like, he needed to animate somebody doing the kitchen, and he was like, I actually have no idea how you do a salmon or how you cut fish. So then we went on YouTube to try to find like real chef like handling fish and stuff. It's the littlest thing. Sometimes you don't realize how little you know about the world until you have to animate it. Someone says hi from Cuba. Hello. Oh, someone asked, how do I get more energy to animate? I lost energy easily and stopped animating. Any advice? Do you have any advice? Oh, that's so cute. I love that drawing.
Oh, yay! Well, it may not come like the best from me because I also like lose energy quite quickly. But it's just because like I guess I want to like rush in a new project, and then I don't really plan much, and then when I stop to think like, damn, this is going to take me a while, I just want to like, get it done quickly. I get kind of like sad about it and just let it be, like let it go. I'll just leave this unfinished. Lately, I've been trying to change the way I approach things, in more likely to be more organized and try to reduce my expectations, because I know
Oh, that's a good one.
the things that I want to do compared to like the skills that I got right now kind of don't match. So when I don't get the exact result that I thought in my head, it kind of gets me discouraged a bit. So to reduce that, I guess I just try to like have fun in the project while also trying to commit to it with like little steps. Like try not to take it all at once. Like just go little by little, and then I'm sure you'll get stuff done eventually.
You said it was a bad advice. That's like one of the best advice I've heard in a while. This is so true and so good, especially about like the expectation part and how like do it one step at a time. If you have a big, sometimes I do like, I get it, like we lose energy when we see like this big project. It's like, oh my god, it's such a daunting task. Just break it in small pieces, and if you're working and the energy is not there, like you just can't keep going, don't force it. Take a break, stand up from your desk, and go out. Take a walk. Maybe like even 10 minutes walk is going to energize you a lot. And I know people might disagree, but like that's science. It is fact. Walking energizes your body. It gets you going, gets your brain functioning. When I'm low energy, also sometimes just changing room might help you, like just changing environment, and also maybe connecting with people. I know everybody's different, but I know it helps me when I have a task that is very hard or something to animate. Sometimes I just hop on a voice call, and just having my friend's soothing voice in my ears just takes my brain off the task and just ease in. And sometimes as I talk, I just do the task and it just happens by magic. Okay, I don't know how that works, but it works. So I would say, exercising is also good every once in a while. Just And not going to the gym or anything. Just keep your body moving. It's gonna help you have more energy. And sleep. Sleep is important. Okay, can we stop the trend of the animator that doesn't sleep is cool? No, like like respect your body and yourself and sleep, eat well. um, Someone asks, oh, well, Martin said, thank you for the advice. I am going right now to steal the furries from Val. Oh no.
Oh, oh,
Oh no. No. Oh no. Protect your furries. I love that little character, by the way. It's so adorable.
yay! Wait, which one?
So
This one?
the one, yeah, this one that you're pointing at now.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, they're
this.
all adorable, but this one more precisely because
I made it right now. I have no idea who this character is.
that's it. I think that's what I was talking about. When sometimes you just talk with people, is things just happen. They just do.
Yeah,
Um,
just let it flow, man, or something.
yeah. Oh, Mithy from the chat on Twitch says something very interesting about like the figure drawing and stuff. They say taking a figure drawing class, I feel helps a lot with understanding anatomy and how the body moves. This is something I forgot, and it's so right. Sometimes I know I'm like that because, like I said, drawing humans and stuff doesn't come easy. I can draw birds like no one's business. That I can do, but humans, I had troubles, and I always had friends who would help me out. And I know that I have two friends specifically. It's like a Doodledly on Instagram and a VFish Face also. I'm gonna send both of their links. They're both super helpful because they can put words into the drawing. Like sometimes I was like, how do I draw a shoulder? They're like, well, it's easy. That's how it works. And they would explain it with words. And I was like, oh my God, I get it. So I guess I'm not visually skilled, but if it's verbalized and sometimes somebody explains it, it's like the way I animate. Sometimes I will not be able to animate until I do the movement myself, which is probably why I do so many different things. I have a passion for everything. I just love to do things, but it helps understand emotion. So yeah, taking a class, very, very interesting. And sometimes there's free classes online. I forgot the link, but I think on YouTube there was someone doing figure drawing and it would just explain their. Is it Proco who does that? I think it's Proco on YouTube. Oh, also drawing with waffles is such a good one for reference, and she explains a lot of her process. I'm gonna try to send all these links into the chats. But yeah, thank you, Mithy, for the comment. Also, Mithy said in the chat, you can bounce off ideas and get a better understanding of animation by joining a community. That is true because you get people to talk with. It's interesting. Ale Art Stuff says, wow, you sketch so fast. And I agree. These sketches just keep going. And that's amazing.
Oh. It's wow. I mean, I have several. yes, stuff. Oh wow.
So if anyone in the chat has any questions, we're gonna finish the stream soon. So
Aww.
keep them coming. I know it goes so fast.
So
I think we have like 5 minutes left, I think.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna check at the chat again. So yeah, okay, so there's no questions on YouTube. Let's look at Twitch. No questions yet. Okay, so that's perfect. I guess we're gonna finish with I had a little point here that we might have forgotten. I'm gonna check our list to make sure we didn't forget anything. Oh, okay. I want us to spend more time on one thing. We have to talk about how it's normal to not get it right the first time, and it's normal to not know. It's okay if you don't know. It's okay. Well, what were you gonna say?
That's actually like something I at first had trouble to understand it, like myself, to understand like, no, you're not perfect, you're not James Baxter. And even James Baxter had trouble learning, and he had his journey, and he got to the point where he is right now, and so can you. It takes time, of course, and you have to love your imperfections sometimes. Like, it's not always going to be how you wish it was, but just being open to the idea of, yeah, you may try something, it might not end up how you thought it would, but you have to keep trying. You'll
No,
get
that's
there.
a good thing. And actually, I was wrong. We have like 10 minutes left ish, give or take, maybe 8. Anyway, so no stress, we're good. But like, yeah, in that uh, field of idea, there was also another. I had a workshop. Actually, we were talking about the workshop earlier, but I did a workshop with Chris Pern, which is an amazing storyboard artist and film director. And he gave solid advice such as it's okay to not know something and just ask. Because I get that a lot in animation when we're just learning. Um, I was on a show some years ago. Uh, it was Big Hero 6, like the Disney show with like the big robot, right? And on that show, we were animators, right? But usually in animation, there is a animation department, and then there's like, like an FX department for like FX and fires and water and bing bang lasers and stuff. Um, so when I was on that show, I was done with my shot and I just sent it off for approval. And then my animation supervisor was like, "Oh, you forgot the fire." I was like, "The what? I have to animate the fire. There's no FX crew." He's like, "No, we don't have an FX crew here. Everybody does their own FX." I was like, "Oh no," because I've never done fire in my life. I was like, "I don't know how that works." And I remember at first I was kind of shy because also I just moved in a new country for that contract, so I didn't want to look like an idiot. Yeah, I moved to Denmark for almost a year to work on that show. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to make fire. And before I asked, I did spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. But like, I should have just asked earlier. Like, I ended up asking one of the more senior animator, hey man, I have to animate this fire explosion and I'm losing my shit over this. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. And he gave me some tips and night and day, I just got it so fast. I was like, oh, so that's how it works. It was so easy. I wish I would have asked earlier. So my rule of thumb is usually, like for animation, if you can, try to figure it out, of course. But if you're on a, you know, budget, like if you're on a time crunch, oftentimes the rule of thumb is try to figure it out like half an hour by yourself for animation or something. And if you're really at a loss, just ask someone. Someone might know. And if no one knows, then you just go back and you do more research. But what I mean is, don't be afraid to ask. Don't depend on others for everything. And if you're asking for help, be precise. Say, I need help doing that exact thing. Just don't go to someone and be like, I don't know how to animate. Can you teach me how to animate? Like, this is just frustrating. This is like the worst thing you can ask someone, right? Like, oh, teach me how to draw. It's like, um, I don't know. But yeah, so that's my little advice also to add to this. So it's okay to not know something. And if someone asks you, animate fire, just don't tell them, I don't know how. No, wait. Don't tell them you can't. Say, okay, I never animated fire before, so this might take a bit longer, but I'll do it. Okay, so be open, do it, but don't promise things you can't deliver because it's just going to stress you more. Like, don't pretend you're the best fire animator. So try to figure it out, and if you can, do ask for help. The people is not out to get you. I bet most people just want to be helpful and stuff. Yeah. Anything to add about not knowing stuff, Val?
Not really on my part. You said it very well.
Thank you. It's teamwork. I just developed what you started. um. Ooh, Mithy has another very cool question. What is? Well, I mean, I'm gonna rephrase it because it's what is one of the most important skills for an animator to know? Okay, actually, what are some of the most important skills an animator should know? Because I don't think we can decide on one. We're just gonna say a bunch. So yeah,
Oh,
what are some important skills an animator should know?
I've got one. It's adaptability. Like you have to learn to how
That's
to
a good
adapt.
one.
Adapting fast is good. You have to be a chameleon.
A chameleon.
Yes.
So what do you mean by adapting fast? Adapting to what? To the weather?
To also to adapt to other people's styles if you're going to like animate on them, because I know people are very dead set on their own styles and they have like trouble to like for example if you draw anime your entire life and then you have to do something I don't know super cartoony from the 30s or something, it's going to be like whoa, it's like a total shift for you. That in anatomy, you have to like know your basics in anatomy because it's very useful.
Yep. Oh yeah, be adapting. It's such a good advice. What other skill? Oh, I think okay. This is a stretch, but I think timing is a good thing. Um, and what I mean by that is that not okay. I'm not saying that if you don't do music or if you don't do any kind of rhythm activity, you're going to be a bad animator. What I'm saying is that no, having a good sense of timing and maybe having an affinity in music and dance does help 100% animation like that. Like it just does help. So if you have an affinity for dance or for music or for anything that is like a rhythmic art, um, I would encourage you to pursue it because I'm an animator. I do animation and I know I have a good sense of timing. I don't have the best draftsmanship. Like I don't draw the best, but I am really good at animation. So that's why I supervise a lot of projects because I can't draw shit, but I can tell people how to maybe like fix a little thing in their animation to make maybe the arc better or the timing better. That is something I know I can do, right? It's important to know what you're good at and what you're less good at in animation. Okay, that's another thing. But for the timing, like if you like music and dance and stuff, it is a good thing because the timing knowledge you learn will come in animation a lot by having a good like snappy sense of timing and stuff. And it's not something you're gonna apply like black and white to your like it's not I will learn the piano therefore I will apply that to my animation. It's more subtle. um it's as subtle as I couldn't draw backgrounds to save my life in the past. I like perspective never came easy. Like seeing in 3D in my head, not working. I was a 3D animator for like 4 years, and just being immersed into 3D objects for all that time changed the way my brain functions. And now I can actually draw backgrounds a little bit just to save my life, like barely. But it was a slow thing. So if you want to get into animation and you have an affinity for music, I would say pursue it. Do it. It's going to help you, I'm sure. I'm not a scientist, but I think it's right. Okay, so another question is there a Toon Boom Discord server? Yes, I'm going to send it into the chat. Any other channels, people for your friends in animation that you like, follow? Yeah, if you have some Val, I'm going to post them also into the chat.
Yay.
Like if you have from the top of your mind, if you don't, it's okay. We didn't prepare for that question. Greetings from Mexico. Hello. Oh, someone asks. Blocking poses is such an underrated skills. In between an exaggeration seems very simple. I think all of these, like either in betweens, exaggeration and pose and blocking pose, they're all complicated in their own way. So like don't think that one is easier than the other. Yeah, okay, so I think that's it. I'm gonna let you finish this little doodle and I'm gonna post all the links that people need into the chat. And if you have any other reference that I can get from YouTube or something, let me know. But I'm gonna post some of the main channels. So I know there's like the Toon Boom Discord server, there's our Discord server. I'm gonna share a bunch of links, so feel free to just doodle. We have like 4 minutes left, so no stress.
Oh damn! I drew a bit, I guess.
This is beautiful. Oh my god.
This is so random.
Okay,
Like,
so
what
in
is
the
this?
chat of YouTube and oh my god, I don't know. It's a pointy man.
It's a Dorito man.
A
Dorito.
Dorito man.
Yeah.
So in the chat, I posted the Toon Boom community page. You can find a lot of links there. We have our ambassadors that have very good tutorials and content. I'm also going to share the Discord server that I created a few years back and that Val helps me mod, which is very nice. Thank you so much.
Aww.
So feel free to join. Everybody's welcome. Just read the rules. Of course, if you want to learn animation, you can check out my YouTube channel. Shameless plug. I'm going to post it in the chat as well. And thank you so much for being with us today, Val. It's very, very nice. I had a blast. It was so interesting. We had so many people. It was super nice. And I think, unless you have anything... Oh, yeah, actually. Do you have any last advice before we part ways? Just general advice about life, about animation, about cooking, whatever.
I guess my last advice would be to like, whenever you struggle to, or if you like fall out of love with your craft, it's good to go back in your steps and see what make you go into it. Like when I feel like bad about my stuff, I like to compare my older drawings and see how far I've become, and it kind of gives me like the motivation to keep on going. Like, so something like that.
Yeah, I feel the same. And one advice for this, before we go, if you draw traditionally, like get a sketchbook and draw in the same sketchbook, because then you can see your progress and you can see that what you drew before was probably more shittier than what you draw now. And remember that if you look at your drawing now, always remember that you from 2 years ago would have done anything to be where you're at now, usually, because you just keep growing. So always remember that you look up to people, but people look up to your skill level as well. So thank you for watching. And you can catch our next stream tomorrow, April 17th, and it will be collaboratory with Mike Morris. That's also fun.
Woo!
Woo, woo, woo! So thank you so much for being there, Valmera. It was a blast and a half. And and my advice for you today, folks, is if you have bread in the toaster and you need to take it out, use a wooden tool. Do not put a fork in your toaster. It's really not okay. And with that, I think we will be on our way. So goodbye. Be careful, everyone, and have fun and go outside, take walks, and sleep. Bye.
Bye.